The history of baseball cannot be written without the Montreal Expos. The Expos were known for developing some of the best young talent in entire history of baseball. Some of the greats of time have come through Montreal and have spread their talents to other places. And in 1993, the Montreal Expos made the greatest trade in franchise history when they traded a league average second baseman to the Los Angeles Dodgers for a young pitcher coming off his rookie season. That pitcher would go on to become one of the greatest in the history of the game and win a World Series for the Boston Red Sox, all while never forgetting his time with the Montreal Expos.
I'm glad I got it, and I would like to share this with the people in Montreal that are not going to have a team anymore. But my heart and my ring is with them too.
This is how Pedro Martinez came to and left the Montreal Expos. It's time for a trade tree. Let's go. In June of 1988, a young Pedro Martinez signed on with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and in 1993 he produced his rookie season with the Dodgers. He went 10-5 with a 2.61 ERA in 107 innings. Now, Pedro, his early years, was known for being quite wild. He had 57 walks against 119 strikeouts that season and finished 9th in Rookie of the Year voting. In that offseason, November 19th in 1993, the Dodgers traded Pedro Martinez to the Montreal Expos for second baseman Delino DeShields. And people often sit here and wonder why. Why was that trade made? Well, the Los Angeles Dodgers had just acquired Jody Reed from the Colorado Rockies, but they were in a contract dispute with the second baseman. Jody Reed would actually only end up playing one season with the Dodgers. So the reason why Pedro Martinez was even traded to the Montreal Expos is because the Dodgers just needed a second baseman, and they traded for Delino DeShields, and it cost them a legend. DeShields would go on to play 3 seasons in LA. He would post OPS pluses of 84, 99, and 60. Not very good. However, he had produced 3 of 4 seasons of over 100 in Montreal, so he was an above average league second baseman when he was traded at the time. He would post WARs of 1.7, 3, and negative 1.4 for the Dodgers before he would be moved on as a free agent. Pedro's time in Montreal saw 4 seasons where the young star blossomed, where he went 55-33 with the Expos. Of course, he was part of that 1994 strike-shortened season, the best team in baseball, where he was a young stud for that Expos team. He was the 1997 Cy Young Award winner in his final season in Montreal, where he produced a 1.90 ERA over 241 innings, led the league with 305 strikeouts and a 2.19 ERA plus. He was a 2-time All-Star in Montreal, producing 20.1 WAR. He would have been a free agent after the 1998 season, but that's when the Expos, in a financial crunch as they usually were in, made the trade and traded Pedro Martinez to Boston. In return, they received 2 pitchers, Carl Pavano and Tony Armas Jr. Pedro would go on to sign a 6-year, $75 million contract that paid him $12.5 million per season in Boston. He would go on to pitch 7 seasons for the Red Sox and took his career to legendary status. He went 117-37 in those 7 seasons in Boston. He had only 1 season with an ERA over 3. He even had a season with an ERA under 2. His Cy Young voting record speaks for itself. In 1998, he was second in the AL Cy Young. He won it in 1999 and 2000. He was second in 2002, third in 2003, fourth in 2004. He claimed 4 ERA titles, 3 strikeout titles, and was a 4-time All-Star for the Boston Red Sox. Coming back in 1997 were Carl Pavano and Tony Armas Jr., 2 very highly touted pitching prospects at the time. Pavano was a lower round draft pick, but he had a lot of success through the minor leagues and was thought very highly of. He would go on to pitch 4.5 seasons in Montreal. He would only produce 1 season with an ERA under 4, and that was 3.06 in 2000, where he had a very, very good season, but only 97 innings. His ERA plus across the board in Montreal was 100, 80, 158, 71, and 68. So 4 seasons of at or below league average. He would produce 2.7 WAR. Pavano would be packaged in a deal to the Florida Marlins later on in 2002. As for Tony Armas Jr., he would pitch 6 seasons in Montreal. He had an over 4 ERA in each full season that he pitched. He had 2 seasons only where he pitched over 100 innings. In those 2 seasons, he had a 111 and a 96 ERA plus. In 6 seasons in Montreal, he would produce only 7.9 WAR. So given the fact that Pavano and Armas came over for Pedro and what he became, yes, we have to understand the Montreal Expos were such a cash crunch at the time that they basically had to trade Pedro because they weren't going to be able to re-sign him. So getting Pavano and Armas Jr. at the time was about the best they were going to do, and it just didn't pan out for either pitcher in Montreal. Armas, in terms of the trade tree, left as a free agent in 2006. As for Carl Pavano, in July of 2002, he was packaged along with reliever Graham Lloyd, utility infielder Mike Mordecai, prospect Justin Wayne, and a player to be named later who became Donald Levinsky to the Florida Marlins for outfielder Cliff Floyd, infielder Wilton Guerrero, both were returning to the Expos, prospect pitcher Claudio Vargas, and cash. Cliff Floyd had started out with the Montreal Expos, and in that return, he played only 15 games in Montreal, producing 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, a 678 OPS, and a 73 OPS plus. Floyd was quickly shipped off to Boston as well, where he hooked up with Pedro Martinez. In that deal, Floyd was dealt to Boston for prospects Sun Woo Kim and Seung Song. In Boston, Floyd would go on to play 47 games, producing 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, a 935 OPS, and a 142 OPS plus in his short stint in Boston as he tried to help them reach the playoffs, but the Boston Red Sox missed out. That would spell the end of Floyd's time in Boston as he signed on as a free agent with the Mets after the 2002 season. As for the other pieces, Wilton Guerrero would be returning to Montreal as well. He would play 44 games for the Expos, having 1 home run, 5 RBIs, producing only a 416 OPS and a 9 OPS plus. He would be released in October of 2002 and signed with the Reds. As for the prospect in that deal, Claudio Vargas would go on to pitch 2 seasons in Montreal, going 11-13 with a high 4 ERA. His ERA plus in those 2 seasons was 104 and 87, and he had 151 strikeouts across the 2 seasons. Vargas would be part of the move to Washington from the Expos to Washington to become the Nationals. He would pitch only 12 innings with the Nationals in 2005 with a 9.24 ERA, and he would be claimed on waivers by Arizona later on that season. Going back to the Marlins side of that deal, Carl Pavano would pitch 2.5 seasons in Florida and have some of his best seasons. He would go 33-23 with the Fish. He was an all-star in 2004 when he went 18-8, 3 ERA in 222 1/3 innings, and produced 7.9 WAR in his time in Florida. He was also a starter on that 2003 Florida Marlins World Series winning team. As for Graham Lloyd, he would produce 26 1/3 innings in Florida. He was a lefty specialist reliever going 2-2, 4.44 ERA, 91 ERA plus, 0.1 WAR, and he would leave as a free agent at the end of the season. Mike Mordecai would actually finish his career in Florida, 3.5 seasons in Florida. The best season he had was only 89 at-bats and had a negative 0.9 WAR. Justin Wayne was a part of that deal as well. He would actually go on to play 3 seasons, pitching 61 2/3 innings in Florida. He had a 6.13 career ERA and negative 1.3 WAR. As for the Floyd trade from Montreal to Boston, a couple of pitchers came back the other way. The first one being Sun Woo Kim. Kim would actually pitch 2.5 seasons in Montreal. He'd pitch 51 games, had 23 starts, would have a 4.60 ERA, a 99 ERA plus in 2004, which was his best season, so he was at or below league average for his time in Montreal. As for Seung Song, he never played a game in the major leagues. You've made it this far in the video, you might as well hit that subscribe button for all the terrific baseball content right here on 3 Up, 3 Down. So there you have it, the legend of Pedro Martinez, started in LA, and when you think about the game of baseball now and all the decisions that the Dodgers get right, it's hard to believe that they passed on a Hall of Famer back in 1993 in a trade to Montreal for second baseman Delino DeShields. If it wasn't for Jody Reed and his contract dispute, who knows what could have become of Pedro Martinez on the West Coast. As for Pedro's time in Montreal and then on into Boston, he blossomed into the Hall of Famer that he is, one of my favorites of all time to watch. Pedro was an absolute legend. And to me, the greatest memory still of Pedro Martinez when he won the World Series in 2004 with the Boston Red Sox, and the interview he did after, talking about how this championship was for the fans in Montreal as well. It was just so special to watch and to understand just how much the city of Montreal meant to him personally and his growth as a professional baseball player. As for the rest of the pieces, you got to say the Florida Marlins probably did the best out of all of it along the way, with Carl Pavano coming in 2003 and helping them win a World Series championship, kind of unexpected with that 03 Marlins team. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of another video here on 3 Up, 3 Down. I really hope you guys are enjoying these trade tree videos. Make sure you comment down below what trade you'd like to see next. We'll be getting back in some more of our standard prediction style videos in the next little while as we get closer to the baseball season, but I'm still going to keep up with some of these trade tree videos, some analytics videos. I really hope you're enjoying that. So until next time, take care, everyone.